Sorry about the short delay. Apologies to Lawson and I think it's Grace for we seem to have misplaced you in our online version. But welcome to Nillumbik Council meeting. Members of the public are advised that the meeting will be live streamed and recorded, and the live stream recording will be made publicly available on YouTube and on the Council's website. We'll acknowledge the acknowledgement of country. Nillumbik Shire Council respectfully acknowledges the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people as traditional owners of the country on which Nillumbik is located, and we value the significance of the Wurundjeri people's history as essential to the unique character of the Shire. We pay tribute to all First Nations people living in Nillumbik, give respect to elders past, present and future, and extend that respect to all First Nations people. We respect the enduring strength of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung and acknowledge the ongoing impact of past traumas and injustices from colonial invasion, massacres, genocide, committed against First Nations people and acknowledged that sovereignty was never ceded. The Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung have held a deep and ongoing connection to this place. We value the distinctive place of our First Nations people in both Nillumbik and Australia's identity, from their cultural heritage and care of the land and waterways to their ongoing contribution in many fields, including academia, agriculture, art, economics, law, sport and politics. We will move on to the Good Governance Pledge. I'd ask Councillor Perkins to read that out.
Thank you, Mayor John. As councillors, we are mindful of our civic responsibilities and obligations. We pledge to take them seriously and to carry them out with diligence and integrity. We know the decisions we take will affect the people and environment of Nillumbik now and into the future. We undertake, therefore, to make sound and principled decisions of lasting value in a spirit of fairness and for the good of all. We also pledge to serve the needs and well-being of the community and the environment in an open and honest manner and to the best of our abilities.
Thank you, Councillor Perkins. We'll move on to the prayer. Let me introduce to you David Batterman, Chair of the Spiritual Assembly of the Baha'is of Nillumbik. The Baha'i community originated in the mid-70s, and it was known then as the Diamond Valley Shire. The amalgamation of Eltham Shire and the Nillumbik Baha'i community formed in the 80s. Over the years, the Nillumbik Baha'i community have been involved in numerous local activities, operating information stalls at local fairs, supporting refugees and reconciliation. They run a devotional program for many years on the Plenty Valley FM radio station, and Baha'i-inspired virtues education in local primary schools. Following the disruptive effect of the COVID pandemic, the community is working to engage more with wider community by organising monthly devotional gatherings and a children's festival and holy day celebrations open to all. Baha'is aim to celebrate diversity, live harmoniously as one human family. So I would just ask David to step up to the microphone there, and if you press the button with the little speaking things, it's gone green, you're away. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So this is a prayer for humanity revealed by Abdul Baha, the son of Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i faith. In the Baha'i faith, we don't author our own prayers, but rather choose from the thousands of prayers revealed by the founders of the faith. O God, O Thou who hast cast Thy splendour over the luminous realities of men, shedding upon them the resplendent lights of knowledge and guidance, and has chosen them out of all created things for this supernal grace, and has caused them to encompass all things, to understand their inmost essence, and to disclose their mysteries, bringing them forth out of darkness into the visible world. O Lord, help Thou Thy loved ones to acquire knowledge and the sciences and arts, and to unravel the secrets that are treasured up in the inmost reality of all created beings. Make them to hear the hidden truths that are written and embedded in the heart of all that is. Make them to be ensigns of guidance amongst all creatures, and piercing rays of the mind, shedding forth their light in this, the first life. Make them to be leaders unto Thee, guides unto Thy path, runners urging men on to Thy kingdom. Thou verily art the powerful, the protector, the potent, the defender, the mighty, the most generous.
Thank you very much, David. We'll now move on to apologies and leaves of absence, as there are none. Declarations and conflict of interest, we don't have any. he misses one meeting and he forgets how the whole thing runs. We now move on to presentations, and I'd ask Councillor Brooker to read a condolence.
This is for Brian, for Brian Harvey. We are deeply saddened to hear of the passing of Nillumbik resident Brian Harvey. Brian was a hugely respected figure in the Victorian basketball community, particularly within the Diamond Valley Basketball Association. A life member of the association, he played a pivotal role in shaping its development over several decades. Brian served as the long-time manager of the Diamond Valley Sports and Fitness Centre, contributing to its growth and success. He was involved with the update of the original part of the centre and the upgrade of the squash, as well as other areas, the squash courts and other areas. Brian also undertook the annual sand and polish of all councils' stadium floors. He was founder of the renowned Civic League, which was regarded as the best senior domestic competition across the state in its time. He was also the driving force behind the Great Australian Shootout, an elite under-20 tournament that ran for a decade and featured international teams from the USA, New Zealand and China. Brian was involved in every aspect of the game, from running programs for beginners to supporting wheelchair and all abilities basketball. He sat on key committees that helped the Diamond Valley Eagles join the Country Victorian Invitation Basketball League and partnered with Eltham to form the North East Melbourne Arrows. He also played and coached at both the Diamond Valley Eagles and Parkside. On behalf of Nillumbik Shire Council, we pass on our condolences to Brian's family and friends. And just to say appropriately, his funeral was held at the Diamond Valley Sports and Fitness Centre, where over 1,000 people attended. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Brooker, and for those who remember Brian, we share our condolences with you. We will move on now to sporting grants, and a few of these are about basketball, which you'd be very proud of the legacy that is in this area. And we'll lead off with Edendale Ward and Councillor Joy to do the first two awards.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm very pleased this evening to present this award to Indiana Condon Edendale Ward. Indiana receives $200 for being selected to play at the Team Vic 12 years and under Australian football girls team in Queensland. Indiana attends the Eltham North Primary School, where she is school house captain and was asked to try out for the school state team by her current PE teacher. It's always good to have support of your teachers, isn't it? She made it through 3 different tryout stages to be selected for the final team. Indiana plays footy for Research Junior Football Club and basketball for the Eltham Wildcats in both the representative and domestic basketball programs. We wish Indiana the very best for the competition and her future sporting pursuits. I've got this one here for you. Congratulations. Would you like to say a few words? You're okay? Oh, okay, the photo. Just scoot this way a bit so she can, there we go. Well done. You're welcome. So next we have Alana Chipchase. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Another resident of Edendale Ward. Alana receives $200 for being selected to play at the National Under-14 Club Basketball Championships in Western Australia. Wow. Alana currently attends Eltham North Primary School, where she is in grade 6 and clearly doing very well within the height category, and went through the selection process to become one of the school captains. Alana has been selected in the under-14 girls #1 basketball team for the Eltham Wildcats Basketball Club as the bottom age team member, which means, as I understand it, that she's being recognised for her current talents and potential for future development. So we wish Alana the very best for this competition and future sporting pursuits. So we've got this one for you, Alana. Congratulations. Would you like to say a few words? Go ahead.
Thank you for this grant. It'll help me get to Perth and Nationals. Thank you.
Call on Councillor Brooker to make a presentation for Blue Lake Ward.
Thank you. Mia Lewis, this is for, so you can come up, Mia. Mia receives $200. I'll put this up a bit, Councillor Joy. Receives $200, being selected to play at the National Under-14 Club Basketball Championships in Western Australia. She is a Year 7 student attending Catholic Ladies College in Eltham. Mia proudly represents the Eltham Wildcats Basketball Club and Diamond Creek Netball Club in their domestic and rep programs. In 2024, she represented Victoria in the State School Victoria Under-12 Girls Netball team. Her Under-14 Eltham Wildcats team has now qualified for the Under-14 National Club Championships. The event is hosted by Basketball Australia and showcases the best 24 teams from each gender across Australia. So she's travelling over to Perth. We wish Mia the very best for the competition and her future sporting pursuits. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Nillumbik Council, for this grant. It will really help me and my team with travel expenses for the Nationals basketball tournament in Perth. Thank you.
And now we'll call on Councillor Mackay to present present a grant for the Swipers Gully Ward.
This award is for Imogen Nolan. She receives $250 for being selected to represent Australia at the Deaflympics in Japan. Imogen is currently doing her VCE at Templestowe College and still manages to train 8 times a week for swimming. Imogen was born deaf and attended primary school in Diamond Creek, where they offered Australian Sign Language as their LOTE. She made it to the Australian National Age Swimming Championships in breaststroke events, where she qualified for the Deaflympics. When not studying or swimming, Imogen teaches young children with a disability how to swim. We wish Imogen the very best for the Deaflympics and her future sporting pursuits. Congratulations.
I'd just like to say thank you, Nillumbik, for the support, and it really helps me be able to go overseas to compete in an international level, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And that leaves Wingrove, so being my ward, I'll be... say we do have a new lectern, so you are the first people to be presented to from this, and it is so much better without the paper falling on the ground as we do it. The first award is to Lawson Fransman of Wingrove Ward. If you'd like to come up, Lawson. He looks like he's got a little bit of bling with him, so congratulations. Lawson receives $200 for being selected to represent Victoria in the Australian Track Cycling Championships, National Champions in Queensland. Lawson is studying engineering at Monash University. He trains 6 days a week and combines 3 track sessions with gym workouts and road rides. To be selected for the Victorian team, Lawson had to compete at the Track State Championships and achieved a silver medal in the elite men's pursuit, which qualified him to compete in the team for Victoria in the individual and team pursuits at nationals. We wish Lawson all the very best for the national championships and his future sporting pursuits. Congratulations, mate. Thank you.
It was an incredible opportunity to be able to compete at Nationals again this year. I managed to come away with some pleasing results and a podium finish in the team pursuit, as you can see. Once again, I would like to thank Nillumbik Council for their support of my sporting endeavours. Thank you.
And we'll continue on with Wingrove. We seem to be very elite at sport in our area. So, I do invite Grace Quinlan up. Grace receives $200 for being selected to play in the National Under-14s Basketball Championship in Western Australia. Grace is in Year 8 at Ivanhoe Grammar. Grace is a Year 8 student at Ivanhoe Grammar who has played basketball for the Eltham Wildcats from age 7, attending squad camps and rep where the under 14 girls have qualified for the Australian tournament. Grace previously played soccer with the Eltham Redbacks and has run cross-country at state level several times. We wish Grace all the best for the tournament and her future sporting pursuits.
Thanks Nillumbik for the grant. It'll definitely help a lot.
A woman of few words, but many sporting talents. So, next, I'd invite Elsie Butterworth up. Elsie receives $200 for being selected to play in the National Under-14 Basketball Championships in Western Australia. Elsie has competed for the Wildcats Basketball Club for the last 8 years at domestic and rep level. She loves basketball and is excited to represent her club and the state at the upcoming national championships in September 2025. We wish Elsie the very best for the tournament and for her future sporting pursuits.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Hi, my name is Elsie and I'm a member of the Eltham Wildcats Under-14 girls. I'm here to talk about how much this grant will help me and my family with this Nationals trip to Perth in September. Overall, this is a very expensive trip since we have to pay for many things like uniforms, accommodation, transport and flights. I'm very thankful for this generous donation and I look forward to representing Eltham Wildcats in the Nillumbik Council.
Thanks very much, Elsie. And it was just, I think last week, the Nillumbik Wildcats had their 60th anniversary, and it is a fantastic organisation, and congratulations to all our sporting talent. It's great to see young people doing well in the area, making use of the facilities, joining the local team. So really appreciate you coming in. Congratulations and best of luck. I shouldn't put myself last because that way I don't have time to collect my thoughts. We'll move now on to confirmation of minutes. So can I get a mover for the confirmation of minutes for the meeting held on Tuesday, the 17th of June? Councillor Joyner. And you're moving?
I'd like to move the minutes, thanks, Mayor.
And do we have a seconder?
Yes, I'll second that, thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Mackay. Councillor Joyner, do you have anything you'd like to say?
No, thanks.
We'll take a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We don't have any petitions today. We have no questions from the gallery. We'll move on to advisory committee reports. Our first item is advisory committee reports, the 29th of July 2025. Do we have a mover for?
Yes, I will move the advisory committee reports. Yes.
Thank you, Councillor Mackay. Do we have a seconder?
I'll second, thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Joyner. Councillor Mackay, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Just briefly, I was in attendance at the Youth Council this month, which was the first meeting of the Youth Council, and excitingly, we had a youth mayor election, and I would just like to congratulate our youth mayor for this year, Talia Edmonds, on her election, and Deputy Mayor Gianna Andrioli, and wish them luck for the year. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Mackay. Councillor Joyner?
Yes, thanks. I'd also like to add that it was a privilege to attend the 7th of July Youth Council meeting and meet all the new members of that council. They are an exceptional bunch, and I can't wait to see what they achieve in their term. Thanks.
Any other councillors wish to speak? Councillor Perkins.
Yeah, thanks. I just wanted to share that to the former members of the Inclusion and Access Advisory Committee. So the committee members had served at least 2 years, some 4 years on that committee, and because of the terms of reference, most of them, their period was up. They weren't able to join the new committee. But I'll just read out the names of the committee members for the Inclusion Access Advisory Committee that finished up on the 2nd of May, if that's okay. Neville Coots, Gina Lloyd-Thomas, Rhonda Bain, Sylvana Skiblia, Sean Cumming from Different Journeys, Nicole Croxford from Carers Collective, Helen Ryan from Araluen, Aaron Williams from Brotherhood of St John's, Brothers St Lawrence, Courtney Walsh, St John of God, and also Dana Worrell, Gina Lloyd-Thomas, Carol Lee, and Melaine Keeley. So just like to thank you all, sincerely for the work that you put into that committee. It's a fantastic committee. I really did enjoy chairing it for the 2 or 4 years that they were on it, and wish them well. But certainly, sincerely appreciate the work they've put into this committee for inclusion and access for Nillumbik. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Perkins. Any other councillors wish to speak? Again, I'd just like to echo fellow councillors. Congratulations to Talia Edmonds and for the team that now is the Nillumbik Junior Council. It was a great meeting and they did a fantastic job, and we look forward to working closely with them. And again, echo Councillor Perkins' thanks to the people who have served on that advisory committee, and Councillor Perkins often speaks highly of the work they do. So we'll take a vote as to accepting those minutes. So, sorry, reports. Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to officers' reports. Our first report is Hurstbridge Dog Park upgrade, community consultation. Do I have a mover?
Yes, please.
Councillor Joyner.
I'd like to move the motion as per the papers.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Perkins. Councillor Joyner.
Thank you. The users of Hurstbridge Dog Park are extremely excited about the upgrade to their new dog park. Council officers and I met with a group of avid users of the park back on Thursday, the 5th of June, to get their initial thoughts on what would work best for the dog park. I think we're all on the same page of improving the dog park without going over the top of us, as it's already a wonderful space with lots of grass that the dogs love running around on, much to the envy of Diamond Creek Dog Park users and Diamond Creek councillors. Seating, paths, shelters, lighting, dog waste stations, drainage and a small dog area are the main things covered, but I'm really interested to know what the community do think and if the plan covers what they'd hope for. So please take the time to check it out. The community consultation period is open from the 18th of August to the 14th of September. So we'd love to hear your feedback on the plan and happy to see anyone wanting to make a public submission at the Planning and Consultation Committee meeting on the 14th of October. And a big thank you to the Allan Labor Government for the $300,000 grant to go towards this project.
Thanks, Councillor Joyner. Councillor Perkins? Do you
Yeah, certainly. I'm very happy to second the motion and congratulate Councillor Joyner and officers for working with community to get this concept plan where it is at the moment. I think it's a good concept plan. You are right, Diamond Creek councillors, I can speak for Councillor Joyner, I'm sure, but are envious of the size and the space that this dog park affords. Like, it's a very large dog park compared to what we have down further south. And because it is so large, there's the ability to rest one half of it and still have the dog park open, which is not an option in Diamond Creek. And there's grass. We would love to have grass, but the Diamond Creek Dog Park is not large enough to be able to support grass. So we've ended up with essentially quarter minus, I think, some sort of crushed blue rock. But no, fantastic dog park. Good to see it get an upgrade. I know that any time that good things happen in Diamond Creek, we hear a shout from Hurstbridge residents saying, "What about us? What about us?" Well, you know, here's your turn with the dog park, so it's good to see it going forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Perkins. Does Councillor Brooker?
Thank you. Look, some context. I hope that'll be of some interest. The Victorian Government had a competitive new and upgraded dog park program. Round one was $7.6 million for dog parks in Melbourne and Geelong. Saw 6 new and 13 dog park upgrades funded. Diamond Creek, the upgrade there was one of those 19 projects where the tender process has just commenced. Round two was $4.9 million to deliver 26 dog park projects statewide, so somewhat smaller projects in round two, which is where we're discussing Hurstbridge tonight. And this follows actually some other state government projects for upgrading dog parks from my first term in council from 2018, where the Eltham North Dog Park was funded. So in short, I think what I'm really getting at is that Nillumbik have done pretty well under the state government dog park program. We've got rounds 1 and 2, $600,000 of Nillumbik projects funded. So I think that is a very, very excellent result. So what of Hurstbridge? There's activity areas, double gates with lighting, signage, passive and active activity areas, small shelters, water fountains, and even now seating with USB chargers. So that is quite a package of assets. I do know the council plan calls for advocacy for this type of asset in Blue Lake Ward. An off-lead dog park that we do have is at Diamond Hills Reserve, and that is a wonderful asset for the people that own dogs in the local area. But it is not the comprehensive set of assets that exist in Hurstbridge and that has been described. So hopefully maybe the state government will extend their dog park program another round, but I think we really do need to acknowledge the funding that we've received from them for these projects, which has been very well appreciated. Thank you.
Sorry, any other councillors wish to speak? I do note that Eltham Lower Park is in the process of developing a dog park, I think with federal government assistance, so we thank Kate Thwaites for that work as you're thanking people, Councillor Brooker. We also note that it does not have grass and we probably would dearly love some. So we'll put this to the vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to expressions of interest process for the Health and Wellbeing Advisory Group. Do I have a mover? Councillor Joy.
Sorry, Mayor, I didn't have my microphone ready.
It's hard to get used to them. But 2 or 3 years in, I reckon you'll be right.
Great. So I'd like to move that Council endorses the Health and Wellbeing Advisory Committee Terms of Reference 2025 to 27 at Attachment 1 and approve the expression of interest process, which is open for a 3-week period from 4th of August to the 22nd of August. And note that a report will be presented to a future council meeting following the expression of interest process outlining the recommended appointments to the Health and Wellbeing Advisory Committee.
Thanks, Councillor Joy. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Brooker. Councillor Joy, do you wish to?
Yes, I do have a few words. So this committee provides a formal mechanism for council to fulfil the requirements of the Public Health and Wellbeing Act. So in the local government context, the Act requires that councils develop a health and wellbeing plan every 4 years. And those plans are developed using local population health data and expert advice of leading public health professionals working across the broader catchment area. The purpose of this committee is to support the governance of the Health and Wellbeing Plan, and we do this through consultation with stakeholders, information sharing, partnership building and alignment with regional priorities, and especially working with the public health units. So we've been working on the Nillumbik Health and Wellbeing Plan for 2025-29, which has recently been out for public consultation. And at our last committee meeting, a couple of weeks back, we discussed that feedback that we received from the community and from organisations, and the majority of it was very positive. So with this expression of interest, the advisory committee will consist of up to 20 members. That includes representation from community groups or local agencies, state or federal government departments and independent health organisations, up to 6 individual community members, and 2 representatives from council. And at this stage, that is myself as chair and Councillor Brooker as alternate chair. So the expressions of interest for the Health and Wellbeing Committee members will be open, as I mentioned earlier, from the 4th of August and will close at 11:59 sharp on the 22nd of August. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Joy. Councillor Brooker, do you wish to?
Yes, thank you. Look, I've spoken previously on the value of the plan to our residents, and this motion speaks to the structure of the committee as been described, and it's been my observation on the committee that it's a very effective structure where you have specialists in certain public health areas and health promotion areas and health promotion specialists alongside with the community members. I just want to depart from, though, the structure of how the new committee is going to be formed with some comments about the health and wellbeing plan, because it's a kind of thing that I think could get a kind of an eye roll from those people who are sort of obsessed with council not deviating outside of the 3 Rs. And what we're trying to really address through the health and wellbeing plan are 5 broad areas, and they're partnerships, And so we have involvement from other health agencies in this committee. And we're trying to reorientate health services so they're not just the local physio, providing treatment, but possibly running a balanced class at, say, the Hurstbridge Hub or something like that, to prevent falls and things like that. That is what really health prevention is about. So we're trying to create a supportive environment, and that's about things like trails. It's so many things that we speak about at council, planting more trees, aesthetically making places more attractive. We're trying to develop personal skills. That's about empowering people, encouraging them on healthy behaviours. And then again, you've got something like Hurstbridge Hub where you can run programs about establishing vegetable gardens at Edendale and so on as well. And we're lastly trying to strengthen community action. Councillor Joy has been a strong advocate on the committee for healthy food systems, and that has now been incorporated in the plan. And those kinds of things that are represented through community gardens, which you can have several, which there's several in Nillumbik, one in Diamond Creek, for instance. So all these are kind of part of creating a health and wellbeing plan in its broad sense, and that's what we are trying to facilitate here. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Brooker. Any other councillors wish to speak? In that case, we'll put it to the vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to the Audit and Risk Committee meeting as of June 2025. Do I have a mover for this motion?
Yes, thanks, Mayor.
Councillor Joyner.
I'd like to move the motion as per the papers.
Okay, do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Cope. Councillor Joyner, do you wish to say anything?
Yes, thanks. The Audit and Risk Committee met on the 2nd of June as part of the committee's quarterly schedule. Items that were considered was the draft 2024-25 VARGO interim management letter, internal audit plan and business function risk assurance map, debt management and hardship policy, impacted material movement summary, risk and safety report, councillor expenses report and the March quarter financial report. The next meeting is scheduled to take place on the 1st of September. I would like to also take this opportunity on behalf of Council to thank Greg Rimmer-Hollyman for all his service on the Audit and Risk Committee as he's retiring, as he's finishing up on the committee. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Joyner. Councillor Cope, do you wish to speak on the matter? Any other councillors wish to speak? Again, I would like to just recognise the work of this committee and wish Greg all the best in his retirement. I think he's moving to New Zealand. So I'm sure he'll enjoy the land of the long white cloud. We'll keep Councillor Brooker and they can have Greg. In that case, we'll go to the vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to the Climate Action Plan Year 3, 2024-2025 Annual Performance Report and the Year 4, 2025-2026 Actions. Do I have a mover?
Yes, I will move that recommendation. Receives and notes Year 3 Climate Action Plan Annual Performance Report 24-25. Endorse the Year 4 Climate Action Implementation Plan for this year, and it notes that the report will be available on the website for the community to access.
Thanks, Councillor Mackay. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
Yes, thanks.
Councillor Joyner. Councillor Mackay, do you wish to speak?
Yes, I'll briefly outline the great work that the council has been doing in this space as they have completed, finished year 3 of their performance report. And there were 69 actions done during the year, and we're just highlighting that we have achieved a 100% EV passenger fleet, a climate resilience and sustainability community programs attended by over 650 residents, recycling education via 10,000 bin inspections. So that's for all the joy you get when you get your well done tag, which I think is great. Grant successes and a new Edendale repair cafe. And a very ambitious year 4, of which I will highlight the great work ahead of us. So we are electrifying the Diamond Creek pool and works to reduce the pool's water consumption. We're hoping to transition the council electricity procurement to a green energy supplier, delivery of bushfire preparedness programs, installation of solar and backup batteries at 2 Hurstbridge sites, trial of use of a council EV to provide power at our community festivals, water tank audits, and transitioning to an all mercury vapour street lights to LED, which will be a huge step towards our carbon zero. And 2 things that we are crossing our fingers for is a potential grant to electrification of the Eltham Leisure Centre, and to upgrade our energy supply at Council Operations Centre. So we're busy. We're doing a great job.
If we don't say so ourselves. Thanks very much, Councillor McKay. Councillor Joyner, do you wish to say something?
Yes, thanks. I'd like to say what a great plan this is. I really think there's many, many good things in here. 69 actions, in fact, were in the Year 3 plan that's being noted tonight. In particular, I liked item 24, the list of climate change resilient plants that our community can purchase through Edendale Nursery. Item 34, continue to help identify and support feasible opportunities for local community batteries, microgrids, virtual power plants via collaboration with community partners and the network provider as opportunities arise. And item 44, install solar panels at Hurstbridge Hub and Hurstbridge Men's Shed, which is on track also. Actions that I'm looking forward to in Year 4 are the installation of solar and backup batteries at 2 Hurstbridge sites, Diamond Creek outdoor pools electrification and works to reduce their water consumption, and Council's transition to a green electricity supplier.
Thank you, Councillor Joyner. Any other councillors wish to speak? Councillor Brooker.
Thank you. Yes, well, acting local has resulted in literally dozens of actions that have been described by my colleagues, but just focusing on emissions, the emissions reduction part of the plan, you can observe some somewhat choppy results, I think, and that is mostly because you're transitioning from gas to electric in some respects, and you're still going through the transition of the electrical supply contract being 100% renewable. But transitioning from gas to electric at a number of council assets where the renewable percentage of the electric supply is now almost 100% compared to previously where it was a number less than 100%. So there's all this advocacy policy type programs are happening as well. But from 25-26, we're adding the small remaining sites to that Victorian VECO, I'll have the name of it written here, the Victorian Energy Collaboration, where we're adding from the 1st of July 2025 2 remaining street lighting grids and 2 remaining sites, being the Civic Centre here and the Eltham Library. So from the 1st of January 2026, I think that completes the Nillumbik loop of 100% renewable electrical supply. There's so many 69 actions you can go through. One of them, I was at Plenty Park on Sunday afternoon. I witnessed them, not for the first time, but switching on their LED lights for their women's football matches, and Nillumbik got a shout out there. So that was a great afternoon to be part of. I think the most important, an important thing which you get through the body of the report is how the culture has kind of been embedded now into the officer level of this mindset of taking strides to lower emissions. And you see programs like that on our capital expenditure decisions regarding fleet replacement, all of those types of things, which I think is as important as the programs itself, than a culture of this is the end goal that we're trying to reach towards. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Brooker. If any other councillors wish to speak, in that case we'll take a vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to the Biodiversity Strategy, Year 1, 2024-2025 Annual Performance Report, and Year 2, 2025-2026 Actions. Do we have a mover for this report?
Yes, I will move that. Thank you.
Councillor Mackay.
Yes, I move the recommendation, receive and note the annual report and for endorsement of the Year 2 implementation plan.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that report?
Yes, thanks.
Councillor Joyner. Councillor Mackay, do you wish to speak to the item?
Yes, please. Firstly, to talk about the significance of what we are achieving with our biodiversity strategy. So we have 35 reserves in Nillumbik that have been recognised of having national significance, 25 of state significance and 11 of regional significance, 12 of local and 16 that are basic. So these are based on many things, but including what amazing wildlife and biodiversity we are looking after in these places. And this is why it's so important to have this biodiversity strategy. So a big year one. A few things to highlight is that we delivered over 40 land management and biodiversity nature events to over 820 people. So this is great for our engagement. And 1,391 people supported Clean Up Australia Day. We supported over 300 properties with a sustainable land management and biodiversity advice. And we expanded our forest health program into council reserves. And we've added 10 monitoring sites for indicator species. And this helps us improve our knowledge and inform us for our future management works. We continue to deliver weed programs across the council at 103 bushlands, 17 wetland reserves and 1,200 kilometres of roadside with a very tight budget. Looking towards next year, plenty more to do. So we're going to do a roadside conservation significance survey. Continue our advocacy for the reduced environmental impact of Yan Yean Road Stage 2, knowing that we have a swift parrot population there that is endangered. It's very important. We're going to expand our forest health monitoring program into council bushland reserves, and we want to support our Friends of Group and Gardens for Wildlife program. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank our Friends of Groups for their significant contribution to our bushland reserves. You can't really put a price on it. We had a great day at Eltham Lower Park on International Tree Planting Day, and it was such a great turnout. And we planted 2,000 trees and plants. So thank you, and we appreciate your ongoing support. And if you'd like to join your local Friends of Group, you can find a very close one on our website. And lastly, just to note and to thank some great grants we've had to help us contribute to us achieving the biodiversity strategy. So we've had funding for deer control of $233,000, land care support of $61,000, southern toadlet conservation funding $17,000, and platypus habitat enhancement along the Diamond Creek for $203,000, and they are from the state government and Melbourne Water. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Councillor Mackay. Councillor Joyner.
Thank you. Councillor Mackay and I are very much on the same page tonight, but that is okay. Because I'd like to highlight one of the positive indicators from the Year 1 data of the biodiversity strategy was that of the 35 reserves that Council is managing of national significance, one has a particularly noticeable improvement, which is Temple Ridge Reserve in Hurstbridge. The Friends of Temple Ridge, who are celebrating their 2nd birthday this weekend, have done an amazing job of reducing bone seed in this reserve, and we thank them for their efforts. Sadly, though, 60% of the assessed reserves scored less than 50 out of 100 in terms of habitat condition. But another positive indicator was the increase in the percentage of people acting to care for and protect Nillumbik's natural environment. It went from 74% up to 92%. And in the Year 2 plan, it contains 43 actions, and one that I'd like to highlight is the additional support for Friends of Groups and the Gardens for Wildlife program, as we recognise how important Friends of Groups are for caring for our reserves. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Joyner. Do any other councillors wish to speak? Councillor Brooker.
Thank you. Look, there's a lot of measurement activity within the strategy, and it's by measuring that you do have a benchmark to assess the effectiveness of any future action. The scores in the report for our bushland reserves are giving a result of some improved outcomes, some reduced or worse outcomes, but there is nothing like a target to crystallise focus. I want to focus on one area, like Councillor Joyner did in Blue Lake Ward, Plenty River Walk. That is of national significance, according to our measurement tool, and the baseline score of 42 in 2020 has moved to 47 in 24-25, which is one of the better results. Well, I can attest that to get the needle moving in that direction that far, the Friends of Plenty River Walk have worked tirelessly in that area for the last 4 years. There's, probably around 12 to 15 working bees per annum, where there's between 12, I think they had a record number of 23 local residents just last Sunday, planting and spreading mulch and that type of thing. So with all that, thousands of plants being planted and that many working bees over that many years, you move the dial from 42 to 47, so that speaks to the amount of work that we have to do in that space. And I think it also speaks to really the amount of, I wouldn't say funding, but it needs some strong support from Council. But as Councillor Joyner said, what it needs more than anything else, and in the last budget we did fund an additional resource to provide support to Friends groups, to resource them, to strengthen them, to equip them with the skills they need, because the Council can't do it all by themselves. Fortunately, we have got this very engaged community, but by having a central focus and by getting these Friends groups strengthened to go and do this sort of activity in our reserves, we're going to see some real outcomes, I think. So it is important, I think, for people to kind of internalise the fact that they have an opportunity here of not talking about biodiversity, but actually getting in and doing something about it. So I encourage them, as Councillor Joyner said, to join their local Friends groups. They're available from our website, and it's a very satisfying thing to be involved with. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Brooker. Any other councillors wish to speak? I'll just note that I did join Councillor McKay down at Eltham Lower Park, and I notice in the gallery tonight we've got Sue Dyett from Friends of Diamond Creek, Lower Eltham Park, who was down there and has been for the last 31 years. And there's actually photos that show the sort of work Friends groups can do. So if you want to join one, the Friends of Lower Eltham Park is a very good one. I'd also note that Council has just received $194,000 from the Victorian Government through the Rivers to Ranges project to restore native vegetation through the Watsons Creek catchment area. and mainly around control of invasive species. So again, this just adds to the things that are going on to protect our environment. So I think it's just worth noting. In saying that, we'll take a vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll keep on a theme and we'll move on to the Urban Tree Canopy Strategy Implementation, Year 1 Progress Update and Proposed Year 2 Actions. Do I have a mover for this report? Councillor Joy.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move that Council receives and notes the Year 1 Urban Tree Canopy Strategy Annual Performance Report at Attachment 1 and endorses the Year 2 Urban Tree Canopy Implementation Plan, Attachment 2.
Thanks, Councillor Joy. Do I have a seconder for this motion? Councillor Perkins. Councillor Joy, do you wish to speak?
Yes, thank you. So this report presents the first Urban Tree Canopy Strategy Annual Performance Report and the proposed Year 2 Implementation Plan. The strategy has one key indicator, and that is to track the extent of tree canopy cover, which is defined as woody vegetation over 2 metres in height. It's definitely a lot taller than I am, over time. So out of the report, this is in the report online for those that are interested, but just a few points I'd like to highlight. So some notable outcomes in the first year include canopy cover within the urban growth boundary has remained stable over the past few years. And the next time that it's due to be measured is in 2028. So we certainly look forward to the results when they come through. In this past year, Council planted 220 street trees, and residents can request, if you want a street tree planted out front of your house, you can request that online. And 98 park reserve trees within the urban growth boundary just in this financial year as well. So we do have quite a bit of work to do to meet the objectives of this strategy. And so as part of the strategy, a review of scope and budget for the maintenance of our urban trees was undertaken. That's for the trees on council land. And the review identified maintenance needs to be prioritised to help extend the life of our trees and to protect that mature canopy that we do have that is, you know, the envy of the rest of Melbourne. However, it found that there is currently no proactive tree maintenance budget. And in the past financial year, Council spent over $1 million on reactive emergency tree works to prune or remove dangerous and dead trees. Now, this is really important work, and it's great that we were able to do that. But unfortunately, that is an inefficient process in terms of protecting that mature canopy and meeting our target long term. Further, inspections of trees in our key activity centres, so including Diamond Creek and Eltham, there were over 1,700 trees in these locations that were inspected, and 9% of those will probably have to be removed in the next 2 years. And 30% are likely to need to be removed in the next 3 to 10 years if they don't receive that proactive maintenance. That's expected to cost around $1.5 million. And the amenity value, I'm not exactly sure how this is calculated, but I'm sure it's by people who are very clever. It's been calculated at $3.1 million. Now, aside from that financial cost of replacing those trees, we know that it takes a sapling decades, in fact, to replace a tree. So we really need to do our best to protect the trees that we already have. So this strategy is so absolutely critical in bringing our focus to that proactive, strategic maintenance and prevention of damage to our existing tree canopy, rather than the historical, responsive, reactive kind of activity. So the solution's not an easy one, and we've got quite a bit of work to figure out exactly how we're going to deal with this and how we're going to pay for it. But councillors were briefed on this matter recently, and I, for one, am very keen to explore the different options available to us to be more proactive and more efficient in this area, so that we can do our best to achieve what this strategy aspires to deliver. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you, Councillor Joy. Councillor Perkins, would you like to say something?
Yeah, thank you. Look, it's a very good report, and it's a very good first year by the team, officers, in implementing the strategy in the first year. The first year implementation report is fairly fantastic. I'm very pleased with it. When I scan such a document, I look for two words. The two words fit together rather nicely. And I go from there, the first word being diamond, the second one Diamond Creek. And Diamond Creek jumps out to me a few times in this strategy. We know that Diamond Creek, shares a fairly poor urban canopy, and it shares that with Greensborough and Plenty. Diamond Creek holding around 25%, Greensborough about 22, 23%, and Plenty about 20, 21%. That's in the urban parts of Diamond Creek, Greensborough and Plenty, where the other areas like North Warrandyte stands out at about 62%, St Andrews, 44%, Eltham about 40%, 39%. So, those three areas are in need of the most help, I suppose, in terms of the tree canopy. And it was great to see that one of the areas that officers worked on was advocating to the North East Link Authority to provide council with funding for urban tree planting. That was a result of losing substantial, large amounts of trees, really, largely around the area of the intersection of the Ring Road and Greensborough Bypass. The report speaks to that. The advocacy was successful, and council has been awarded a grant of $857,000, and that will enable 1,800 trees to be planted in Eltham Lower Park and Challenger Street Reserve over 2 years with a 3 years of maintenance. So that's a great outcome for the Shire and Diamond Creek. We'll look at the total of 225 street trees planted. Diamond Creek got 130 of those. Fantastic to see. And in terms of park trees, 33 new ones in Diamond Creek. The new pilot program that encourages and invites residents to request a street tree saw 19 sort of requests that were deemed suitable in Diamond Creek. So that was a great one. Looking at determine where there's capacity for trees to be planted alongside bus stops to grow shade. So many bus stops in Nillumbik. The ones that Nillumbik are responsible for, 151. And of course, we'd love to see bus shelters, but that's not workable. So the thought put forward by councillors was to perhaps we can grow some trees next to those bus stops in lieu of bus shelters. Unfortunately, the majority of those bus stops were assessed as not requiring additional canopy coverage, either due to existing vegetation already or being on track to provide shade, or the presence of permanent shelters for pedestrian use. 33 bus stops were identified as having potential to benefit from new canopy shade, but after they were assessed,
just draw your attention to
we
the
only
time,
ended up with 5. So anyway, it's a great report. Please read the implementation report. You'll get a lot out of it, like I did. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other councillors wish to speak? Councillor Brooker.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to reference not just the $857,000 grant from North East Link, but also a grant applied for by a local community group to that same North East Link. Friends of Apollo Parkways were successful under a community grant program of $5,500, resulting in 22 trees being planted in the passive recreation area at Kirrip Recreation Space, which is diagonally opposite this building, for those that don't know. Okay, so the program was Greening the Northeast, and I think it was a very commendable thing that that particular community group made that application and were successful, and you can see the result out there. Some of the more troubling aspects of the report, Councillor Perkins has made reference to, and this goes back to measurement, which I've also spoken about tonight. When you measure that Greensborough 22-23%, Plenty 20 to 21% tree canopy coverage, certainly that is half that of Eltham North and Eltham, and this is recognised in item 6 of the report, which aims to have 70% of the new canopy trees planted at these locations. And that references item 7, as people have said, to get a street tree outside their house, with a priority given to Greensborough and Plenty. Measurement determines need. I think that is really the point to make. And there's been some measurement done on the tree canopy, and it needs some improvement in Greensborough and Plenty in particular, and in Diamond Creek. So I think that is one of the values of the report. I also think Councillor Joy summed it up very well in terms of the proactive tree approach that we need to take. We can always, it seems, find the money for the $1 million reactive that we have to do, but to look at it a little bit more strategically, I think would be money well invested to go down the positive tree maintenance program. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Brooker. Any other councillors wish to speak? No. We will then put it to the vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. Sorry, I thought our prayer reader had just headed the wrong way, but he's now corrected himself, so he's right. We'll now move on to the the community assessment panel for our grants. So do I have Councillor Brooker?
I would like to move the motion on the screen.
Thank you, Councillor Brooker. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Cope. Councillor Brooker, would you like to speak to the recommendation?
Yes, I would like to speak to the recommendation. I think the only thing to say is that really that councillors are not involved in the assessment of the grant funding. So I think in terms of a probity point of view and a governance point of view, I think that is a good option. It bothers me that I think between 2016 and 2020, I think we were moving into this area without having maybe completely embraced community making decisions on these things. So what we want to do is have a very professional, very thorough kind of process, and to get as many as experienced, kind of organically community-driven type people onto these assessment panels. But I think the major point from my point of view is that it is completely at arm's distance from councillors. We have no input into the decision-making process. We have no capacity to influence events. It will all be done by people other than us, as I think is, when you think about it, an appropriate way of organising a grants program. Thank you.
I'd just like to throw a question to the Director of Communities. I sort of have a feeling that Council is very much involved in the decision of grants, but perhaps not so much in assessing the applications. If I could just get that clarified, please.
Through the chair. So the assessment panel is independent. It will bring to council the recommendations for each of the grants, and then for councils to noting and for having some questions around that. But it ultimately is the panel that does put those recommendations forward to council.
Council, the panel put the recommendations forward, but the actual decision is by council.
Correct.
And council, if council needs to, they can change the recommendations, but would need to make a clear reason as to why it would.
Correct.
So it is a council decision. So we're just clear on that. Sorry, our seconder, Councillor Cope. Any other councillors wish to speak? We'll put that to the vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to the debt management and hardship policy. Do I have a mover for?
Yes, thanks, Mayor.
Councillor Joyner, you would like to put up an alternative motion?
Yes, I'd like to move the motion that Council endorses the debt management and hardship policy, subject to the following change to the bolded text in the first paragraph under section 5.1.1 caveats. Replace will with may to ensure the policy remains consistent with the underlying principles of equity, fairness and sensitivity and financial viability.
Thank you, Councillor Joyner. Do I have a seconder to that motion? Councillor Perkins. Councillor Joyner, do you wish to speak to it?
Yes, thanks. The debt management and hardship policy seeks to balance equity and fairness across all ratepayers within the Shire. Council's financial hardship policy assists ratepayers in accessing payment plans, rate deferrals and other hardship provisions. No one wants to see anyone struggling with their finances, and I truly believe that Council will find a way to help those that are struggling. The policy encourages ratepayers to seek financial counselling and provide a recommendation from their financial counsellor in order to access hardship provisions. But then there are always the difficult people out there that think it's their right not to pay, and for this, Council needs a debt management policy which deals with outstanding rates and charges. As I'm not sure anyone is going to be happy if we can't pick up the rubbish, can't help run the local festivals or maintain our towns, among many other things. And for those, we need people to pay their rates.
Thank you, Councillor Joyner. Councillor Perkins, do you wish to add anything? No? Any other councillors wish to speak? We'll put that to the vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to instruments of delegation from Council to the Planning and Consultation Committee. Do I have a mover? Councillor Perkins.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll move that Council endorses the instrument of delegation for the Planning and Consultation Committee as per Attachment 1. Secondly, endorses the terms of reference for the Planning and Consultation Committee as per Attachment 2. And third, authorises the common seal of Nillumbik Council to be affixed to the instrument of delegation to the Planning and Consultation Committee in Attachment 1.
Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor McKay.
Yes, I'll second that.
Thank you. Councillor Perkins.
Look, this is very much in an administrative motion, and really it's just giving the Planning and Consultation Committee the powers that needs to operate. Quite often, a Planning or Consultation Committee is not the full council. This one, fortunately, is the full council, so it's not that different from a council meeting in many ways. It can't make all the decisions a council can, but it can do most of them. And the rules around what the committee, the Planning and Community Consultation Committee can and can't do are also in Attachment 2. So, yeah, largely administrative. It just gives the committee some powers. It's council giving themselves the power to make decisions. So, yeah, I'm sure the motion will get support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Perkins. Councillor McKay, do you wish to say anything? Any other councillors wish to? Okay, we'll vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We'll now move on to the tender report for contract 2425-025, Eltham Lower Park Pavilion. Do I have a mover for this?
Yes, I will move that. I will move this as per the papers. No, I can't. Council accepts the tender submitted by the preferred tenderer for the redacted sum plus a redacted contingency, inclusive of GST, and enter into the following contract, number 2425-025, Eltham Lower Park Pavilion Upgrade Works Construction, term 30th of July 2025 to the 30th of January 2026 with nil options, and recommend to authorise the CEO to finalise and execute, COO, sorry, to finalise and execute the contract documentation, authorise the CEO to approve additional cost variations that are as a result of unknown latent site conditions or changes to operational requirements throughout the term of the contract with a value of no more than a total of the approved budget for the project.
And you go on.
And I...
As
Oh
per-
gosh, okay. No, any variations that exceed the agreed...
As per the papers.
As per the papers.
So we'll continue as per the papers. So as per the papers, with noting the new date of the 30th of January 2026 for completion. And a seconder for that motion, Councillor Cope. Councillor McKay, do you wish to speak to that? Or?
Just to outline that this is a Commonwealth funded project, so we appreciate that. And that the Eltham Lower Park Pavilion is an aged facility and definitely needs an upgrade as it's not fit for purpose. So we're looking at improving the works to the social space, construction of disability compliant amenities, improvement to the male and female amenities, accessibility improvements, refurb of the kitchen and change rooms. That's all.
Thank you, Councillor McKay. Councillor Cope, do you wish to say anything? Any other councillors wish to speak on this item? No. That being the case, we will take a vote. All of those in favour? And we can note... Sorry, carried unanimously. And I'll just ask, perhaps Councillor McKay might read out the first paragraph of...
Thank you for the direction. There we go. The resolution is that Council accepts the tender submitted by the preferred tenderer, ISA Group Proprietary Limited, for the sum of $1,405,520.55 plus $210,828.38 for contingency, inclusive of GST, and enter into that following contract up on the screen.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to informal meetings of councillor records for the 29th of July 2025. Do I have a mover? Councillor Cope. Thank you.
May I move the councillors? Okay, may I please recommend the council in the exercise of the powers confirmed by, I'll write off the screen then. The council, in accordance with item 20 of the council's governance rule, meeting procedures, receives the informal meeting of council records, attachment 1, for the meetings held.
Thanks, Councillor Cope. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Brooker. Councillor Cope, do you wish to speak?
No.
Councillor Brooker? No. So we're noting those. Any other councillors wish to speak? In that case, we'll take a vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. We're going well tonight. There are no notices of motion. There are no delegates' reports. We'll move on to supplementary and urgent business. Do I have a mover for this motion? Councillor Perkins.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that Council, in accordance with Clause 57 of the Governance Rule Meeting Procedure, admit the item of urgent business relating to the instrument of adoption and authorisation, that being the Planning and Environment Act 1987.
Thanks, Councillor Perkins. Do I have a second to that motion? Councillor Joyner. Councillor Perkins. Councillor Joyner, do you wish to speak? Any other councillors wish to speak? We'll take a vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. So we'll move on to the recommendation. Do I have a mover? Councillor Joy.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move that Council, in the exercise of the powers conferred by Section 1474 of the Planning and Environment Act 1987, resolves that the Nillumbik Shire Council staff referred to in the instrument of appointment and authorisation at Attachment 1 be appointed and authorised as set out in the instrument, that the common seal of Council be affixed to the instrument, and that the instrument comes into force immediately after the common seal of Council is affixed to the instrument and remains in force until Council determines to vary or revoke it.
Thanks, Councillor Joy. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Joyner. Councillor Joy, do you wish to speak?
Yeah, I will. So for those at home wondering what this is about, this is essentially an administrative process that provides for council officers or contractors to exercise powers afforded to authorised officers under the Act. If you're not a governance or policy wonk, as some of us in the room are, it's all a little bit boring, but very important. To make it a little more interesting, I thought I'd share a anecdote. With your permission, Mayor.
Thank you. I would also very happy to have now add the word wonk to my vocabulary, which I have never heard before. But looking forward to your anecdote, Councillor Joy.
Thank you. So, an officer attended a farm and advised the farmer, I need to inspect your property for illegal activity. The farmer said, OK, but don't go into the back paddock, because he was interrupted by the officer, who said, Sir, I am an authorised officer under the Act of this government and have the power to inspect any area on this property. The farmer says, but, and the officer says, Sir, please, and held up his authorised officer card. I am an authorised officer and this card gives me power to inspect any area of this property. OK, says the farmer. A short time later, the farmer heard a scream and saw the officer running from the back paddock with his prize bull hot on his heels. Sir, help me, called the officer. The farmer replied, show him your card. Now, all jokes aside, this is an important governance function, and I am pleased to move that Council endorse this update to our instrument of delegation.
Thanks, Councillor Joy, from that joke from your ag science days, I'm sure. Does Councillor Brooker need a drink of water or a Heimlich manoeuvre? You right? Yeah, cool. Do we have a second? Do you wish to speak or tell us a joke?
No, I'm not sure I can follow up on that.
Any other councillors wish to speak? We'll take a vote. All of those in favour? Carried unanimously. As there are no confidential reports, I will declare this meeting closed. I can't trust that clock, so it is 8:27. So thank you, all those in attendance. Thanks for all who have watched online, and we'll look forward to seeing you same bat station, same bat channel next month.